September meeting. So we have, as we have others come in, we are going to first speak with our elected officials that are on hand. I hope that everyone had a great summer. And as we step into this new season, I'm really looking forward to working with all of you to continue the work in service for our community. So with that being said, I see our council member, Chayose. Chi, good evening.
Good evening, and good evening, Community Board 8. Long time no see. It certainly feels like summer flew by, but I guess we all say that every single year. Um, for those of you that don't know me, and for those of you that do, I'm New York City Council Member Chayose. I represent the 36th District, which includes the great neighborhoods of Bedford-Stuyvesant and, of course, Northern Crown Heights. We in our office in the 36th District had a very busy summer. We kicked off by hiring 16 SYEP interns, and these folks helped us at community events, getting literature out there. But one of the most important things that they helped us do this summer is we were able to kick off our free Wi-Fi for NYCHA campaign. So there's a federal program that has allocated real dollars that go towards signing up NYCHA residents, public Wi-Fi or public housing residents to receiving free Wi-Fi. So we have been at Albany houses all summer long. If anyone on CB8 is an Albany resident and they are interested, please reach out to our office. We'll be there to help. It is my 9th month in office, and we have been doing our Wellness Wednesdays food distribution and service distribution every single week except for 4 because of rain and snow. We have a food distribution every Wednesday right at Restoration Plaza. It's from 11 to 1 p.m. If you would like to come, you are more than welcome to. We do have great produce. We have salmon there, and that's a rarity within bags at food distribution. So if you're a salmon lover, please come down to our food distribution at Wellness Wednesdays every single Wednesday from 11 to 1 p.m. And if you'd like to volunteer, I know there's a couple people that are on this call that do volunteer every single Wednesday. We would be very happy about that. Throughout the summer, something else that we've been keeping within our office every single Tuesday from 12 to 6, we have an affordable housing specialist. As we all know, housing is a #1 issue for many of us here in New York City. And we have an in-house specialist that is there every Tuesday from noon to 6 p.m. She speaks Spanish. So if any of you are Spanish Spanish speaking, or you know a relative or a neighbor that does not speak English, she is there. Walk-ins are welcome, but you could always call our office to set up an appointment as well. Again, since before the summer, we also do have a free I guess, a attorney within our office every other Thursday. His name is Ken. He's wonderful. He was here this Thursday. He won't be here next Thursday, but he'll be here the Thursday after that. Please call to make an appointment with him. He gives legal advice surrounding a plethora of different issues. So if you want some free consulting, we have the right guy for you. In terms of legislation and some of the things that we've been working on, I'm really excited to announce to all of you that we have been pushing a 5-bill rat action plan. I have 2 bills that are tackling some of our largest sanitation problems, not only here in the 36th District, but across New York City as a whole. I've been working with my colleagues, Councilmember Sandy Nurse, Councilmember Sean Abreu, Councilmember Eric Botcher. We call ourselves the Rat Pack. And we are really pushing this rat action plan so that we could make a dent in the rodent population.
Yeah, that's the meeting, but I need to.
Here in New York City. So I'll keep you updated on that. I think we're hoping to see these come to a vote next month, and I'm hoping to see it do some great work here in the 36th District. I think that's all for me. Again, we're located at 1360 Fulton Street. Please come by. My contact information is all on my Google Council website. And thank you for letting me be your council member.
Thank you so much for the information, Council Member. Next up is Council Member Crystal Hudson. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. I have some similar announcements to make, and I think some announcements that dovetail wonderfully with what Councilmember Osei shared. And I will start with some legislation. We recently just passed our first bill that the mayor just signed into law on Tuesday regarding doula access and trying to address the maternal mortality crisis that we have in New York City, but specifically in Brooklyn. And our law mandates the Department of Health to produce material educating New Yorkers on doulas and informing people through specific initiatives about the benefits of doulas and the ways that we can get access to low cost or no cost doula care. And for Black women, we know that this is life-saving information, as they are 8 to 12 times more likely to die during childbirth than non-Black women. Just this week, we actually held a rally, I think yesterday, and had a hearing on the Aging Committee where we heard 3 bills that are part of our Age in Place NYC legislative package that's aimed at making New York the best place in the country to grow older. This set of bills will guarantee housing security for older New Yorkers, and will provide full free legal representation to all older New Yorkers facing eviction. It's essentially expanding the right to counsel, but currently that covers folks within a certain income range. And so this would expand that to anybody over the age of 60, regardless of income. It also requires the Department for the Aging to produce an up-to-date Know Your Rights pamphlet. Currently, a lot of the information for older adults are posted physically in older adult centers and senior centers. And so this would create a Know Your Rights pamphlet and information that would actually require DFDA to send the information out to everybody once they essentially age into receiving the information. And then another bill that we have would guarantee that older adult centers offer culturally responsive and linguistically sensitive programming relevant to the communities they serve. So we're really excited about that Age in Place NYC legislative package. I think maybe Councilmember Osei mentioned this, but participatory budgeting is back. And so we'll be sending out information. If you all would like to sign up, we can drop the information in the chat so that you can sign up to get more information and sign up to volunteer. We're looking for lots of volunteers, budget delegates, and we'll be hosting some neighborhood assemblies at the end of the month, but the process runs from September this year through May of next year. And we'll collect ideas and then host these assemblies, recruit the volunteers, and then we'll get into the voting next year. We're also working on the Atlantic Avenue rezoning. We will be starting that in earnest, I think this month. There will be a steering committee and working groups, and we'll keep everybody informed about the kickoff for that, the public kickoff for that. Again, we can share information. So if folks are interested and want to sign up to participate in the working groups, that would be wonderful. And this is basically the rezoning along Atlantic Avenue as the subsequent rezoning to the M Crown rezoning. So it's an exciting time, and we encourage everybody to get involved in that. Every Wednesday, we have a housing specialist here in our office from 12 to 6:30. So you can call our office at 718-260-9191 to make an appointment. And then every Thursday, we have an attorney from CUNY Law that specializes in housing, but can handle a number of different issues, ranging from housing to immigration. And so he is here from 2:30 to 6:30 every Thursday. And you can also call our office to make an appointment there. We are not officially part of Councilmember Osei's Rat Pack. We weren't invited to that club, but we will be launching a Rat Task Force for District 35. We've been in touch with several folks already, folks that are members of block associations and various civic organizations. Everybody is trying to address this rat problem we have. We're at war with the rats, and the rats are definitely winning. So I think everything we can do, in addition to legislation and activation and abatement, is always welcomed. A couple of two quick announcements about upcoming events. I will be at Afropunk on Saturday at 5 o'clock in the guest services area, just talking to constituents, trying to, help folks access the resources that they may need. And then lastly, our Coffee with Crystal has been going strong all summer long. And our next one will be next Saturday, September 17th at R&D Foods in Prospect Heights on Vanderbilt Avenue at 9 a.m. And in October, we'll be back at Crown Heights Cafe, where we started several months ago. So stay tuned for that. And thank you for the opportunity to share this information. I've got a few members of my team on the line who will be on for the duration of the meeting. So happy to answer any questions or address anything that has been mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. If you could just make sure, as you always do, and this goes for you, Council Member Osei, just send the information to the district offices and the office, all the things that you have planned for the coming weeks. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Senator Brisport, please.
Hi, greetings, everybody. Happy first day of school. To all the parents and all the teachers watching today. Senator Brisport here. I represent the 25th State Senate District. I know the lines moved and then moved again this year, and it's kind of confusing, but just so you know, starting January 1st and onwards from that, I will be your senator if you live in Prospect Heights or if you live in Crown Heights to the west of Franklin Avenue. So I'm just going to share my screen real quick for a few quick updates from my office. What did I just? I swear I know how to do this. 1 second. So first things first, the summer is almost over, but climate change is certainly not over. Alongside the office of Councilmember Osei, we are partnering with a climate group called Sane Energy to do a community meeting and teach-in next Monday. It is about National Grid, the gas provider, and the fossil fuel infrastructure, the pipeline they are building in Brooklyn. And it is also about Con Edison, our electricity provider, and their upcoming rate hike. So if you're interested in attending, it's next Monday at 5:30. It's at Restoration Plaza in Bed-Stuy, and you can RSVP. You can see the link on your screen. It is Linktree/ConEd rate hike. And if you are just calling in and can't see, Linktree has a little period in between the TR and the EE. Next up, childcare. The costs are skyrocketing. It is unaffordable to many families. It is our belief that childcare should be free at the point of service, just like our public schools. Again, happy first day of school. We launched a big campaign to bring universal childcare to New York State, made huge gains, but childcare is still not free for all parents at the point of service. We are doing a statewide strategy summit on Sunday, October 2nd. To talk more about how to scale up the campaign and fight for a world where, for a New York at least, where childcare is free at the point of service for all parents. If you're interested in that, you can pre-register. You can email my team at teambrisport@newyorksenate.gov, or you can call our office at 718-643-6140. And last but not least, also on the participatory budgeting train, we are experimenting it with in our district. PB is not typically done in state offices, so we've allocated several $1 million to run an experiment. We're trying to do it at the state level, and we are looking for volunteers to help us build the process. So you can do that by going to bit.ly/SD25-volunteer. And if you need anything from my office, as always, reach out. We can help out with tons of issues. Our office number is on the screen, and for those who are calling in, it is 718-643-6140. You can reach out to me at brisport@nysenate.gov. My chief of staff, Cara, is K. Clark at nysenate.gov. And in general, we have Team Brisport at nysenate.gov. Thank you, and shout out to all the teachers on the call.
Thank you very much, Senator Brisport. Now I would like to go to Deanna Foote from the Borough President's Office. Ms. Foote?
Hello, everyone. Sorry if I'm a little short on the call. I'm just having greetings from the Borough President Antonio Reynoso. I'm the Director of Constituent Affairs. I put my contact information in the chat, and I'm glad to be here and welcome back for the fall.
Thank you for being here. Welcome. Okay, so right now, those are all the only officials I see right now. So we're gonna jump into roll call. Roll call will be done with Ms. Granville, but before the roll call, Drew Gabriel will be managing the questions and the hands that are raised. So there are a few here. So I'm just gonna ask Mr. Gabriel if he could let me know who's next.
Looking at it, my apologies not for going in order of my screen. Arna Lipkin, and then Desmond.
Ms. Lipkin?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Just great to see everybody. Happy first day of school. First day for, I think it was like 1 million children that the mayor had mentioned today. So it's really a big day for many of our clients, constituents, and we wish them a really successful year. I just wanted to take a moment as community liaison for Interborough Project Connect to thank all the community and stakeholders for your amazing support during Shower in the City. It was a wonderful event. I know, we had Brian was very supportive, and Reverend Cecil Henry and others. It was a wonderful event for the community, not just for those who took the showers. We had amazing resources, giveaways, clothing, food. So thank you. And we do hope that we will work on that again for next summer. On my other hat, One Crown Heights was also a great success, and I want to thank the community also for coming out on that event. Just a quick announcement for our organization. I have sent our new flyer out. We have a survey on the QR code. I'm going to try to put it into the chat tonight. So if anybody would like, mental health is an issue and it's coming more to the forefront, but it's also something that we are more comfortable talking about today. So we have a survey. It's 3 small questions, and I will try to put it on the chat, the link to it, if everyone could take a moment to do that survey, if not now, later maybe. And the other thing is we're working on a financial literacy workshop series. So stay tuned for that. That'll be starting at the end of October. Hopefully, I will definitely have updates for you at the next meeting. Thank you again. I'm wishing everybody a great year ahead, great fall. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I just want to remind everyone, there's a Q&A if you want to drop information, but be sure to send all of your information to the district office. Thank you so much. Mr. Desmond Atkins?
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My comments and questions go to Councilman's Say and Crystal Hudson, but primarily to Chi. He's my councilman, but it has to do with rats. So I've got a 2-point thing. My block association, which is fairly close to him, has been fighting rats for the past 5-7 years. Longer than the tenure of the present mayor and going back to when he was the borough president. This is also to mention you, Ms. Deanna, because I've called the Office of Community Affairs about matters going on. We're in the process of formulating a petition for directed legislation and changes in the regulations in the city. The rat problem has basically been growing for 40 years, and it happened because of changes in regulations and guidance of New York City. And so we see a direct path to things that were done in the past being reversed. And we understand it's not going to be a short-term problem, but I've lived in this community for more than 70 years. And I can tell you that until I was 50, I was never really seeing rats. The problems happened, and it took a long time to happen. I'd like to make a meeting with Councilman Osei. I'm going to call his office with his scheduler, but I'd like to meet with him and the chief of staff. and probably other members of my block association. The other problem is something that Chairman Ersa is aware of. There were sinkholes directly in front of the Brooklyn Children's Museum and on the same on the in the northern block diagonally across at the intersection of Kingston and Bergen. But as it's summertime, you're watching all kinds of sinkholes beginning to form. There was also a major power outage that ran through 4 blocks going back to the middle of last month. And what a lot of people have been finding is that the sinkholes are also a failure of infrastructure. There are leaking water mains. The city is losing water, and these sinkholes are because of erosion. But they also appear to be happening very close to major trunk lines of Con Ed. When I spoke to the Con Ed engineer, he said there was no correlation, that correlation does not equal causation. But right now, driving today, I saw that the sinkhole that had been patched by DEP, and I had the occasion to speak with the DEP workers, has formed again right in front of the Children's Museum. And I noticed coming down Kingston Avenue that there's another intersection that is massively sunken. And there was a huge sinkhole at the intersection of Dean and Brooklyn Avenue about 4 years ago that tore up the entire intersection for months. So I'm stressing the fact that this community, unlike others, does not get quick action. I was in Borough Park and I noticed that Fort Hamilton Parkway has been repaved again within 4 years' time. That's a major street. But I'm saying that the monies that go work in the city don't necessarily come to us quickly. And I'm like I said, I've lived in this community, but in Brooklyn all my life. And I travel. I go to different corners and I see how other communities get funds brought back to them and services. And I'm really tired of the fact that we are basically always begging and getting last. I'm not placing it directly at the politicians, but I have to place it somewhere. So we're appealing to you, and if things continue to go, I hope that our petition and our block association is able to get quite a large number of people to raise facts about just the rat problem, but I'm also making you aware about the infrastructure problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Atkins. Okay, who's next?
Sorry, Madam Chair, there's 2 other folks with their hands up, Nabil Isaac and Andrea Ferris.
Okay, Mr. Isaac, did you have any questions for the previous presenters? Hello? Did he put his hand, maybe change his mind?
I think he doesn't
You're
realize
muted.
he's muted.
Oh,
Oops.
Mr. Ishak, is that you? Can you hear us? Hello?
I don't see that he is responding.
Okay,
And
so
Rich, you should join. Richard, join, please.
no. Before anyone, I just wanted to ask Mr. Ishak, do you have any questions to present to the previous speakers?
To present, no, I mean, if you need me to to just give you an idea of what we're doing again, I could do it. But
No,
I don't.
No.
Yeah, I figured I was, that's why I asked you, because you're actually part of our public hearing action items. So I just wanted to make sure that you didn't have any questions for our previous speakers. So you'll
No.
be queued in. You'll be queued in when that time comes. So thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
There, Karen Crawford from the District Attorney's Office is on with one of their cell phone numbers, 347.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Crawford,
That was it.
welcome.
Is she talking?
Ms. Crawford, can you hear us?
What is wrong?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, clearly. Thank you.
I'm just bringing greetings from the District Attorney's Office. I want to say welcome back to the community. and to let you all know that our office is still open to anyone that needs help. The Action Center is there to help in any aspect. So I will give you that number. That number is 718-250-4877. And my number in the office is 718-250-4877. And if you need anything, please give me a call. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next up is our district manager, Michelle George, who is going to ask about the callers and find out who they are. Thank you, Ms. George.
Hello, everyone. Can caller 718, the first number is 8, the last 271, press star 6 to unmute yourself and identify yourself. Caller 718, last two numbers 71.
Hi, this is Celeste and Dave Stern.
Celeste Stern, thank you. And caller with the number 917, last 245. Star.
I'm going to ask for those who are not speaking to please mute yourself.
That's Richard Wu. I keep muting. Caller, what are we up to? 917, the last 245. Can you star 6 to unmute yourself and identify yourself, please?
Me?
Mr.
Mr. Wu, we see you actually. These are for the callers that we can't see. Thank you.
Hello?
Okay, caller 917 ending in 45.
Yes.
Can you identify yourself, please?
Hello, my name is Daryl. I reside in the Crown Heights area, and
What's
I'm
your name,
joining
Daryl?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I reside in the Crown Heights area, and joining the community meeting board because I signed up for the newsletters, and I got a notification that the meeting was going to be today, so I decided to join and see what it was all about.
Thank you and welcome. Can caller 917 ending 05 unmute and identify yourself. 917 ending 05.
You're not saying anything. I don't see it.
And there's one other person, Miss Weatherspoon. It's just initial A.
Thank you. Initial A, can you identify yourself, please? Initial A. Okay, are there any more numbers, Ms. George? Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to ask Ms. Granville to do the roll call. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Clearly, yes, thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Linda Andrews. Present. Arsenio Osoko.
Present.
Desmond Atkins.
Here.
Lisa Atkinson. Here. Princess Ben James.
Good evening, here.
Julia Boyd. Gail Branch Muhammad.
Here.
Marva Brown Henry.
Here.
Jacques Brunville, excuse me if I mispronounce your name.
That's correct, and I'm here. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Robert Callahan,
Here.
Nora Daniel,
Here.
Diane Duke,
Here, present.
Andrea Ferris,
Here.
Michael Francoeur,
Good evening, present.
Fred Frazier, Drew Gabriel,
Here.
Tamika Gibbs,
Present.
Najani Granville present, Ajini Harris Blenman,
Good evening, present.
Colin Jacobic, and forgive me if I mispronounce it because it's been a while since I've tried to say it.
No problem. I'm present.
How do you say your last name?
It's Jacobsek.
Jacobsic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Zerzima Jordan,
Evening, present.
Regina Kinsey, Francis Langley, Dr. Sarah Lazore,
Here.
Quasi Menza, Mimi Mitchell,
I'm here.
Kiana
Present.
Lewis. Who said, I'm sorry, who was speaking?
Quasi That was Mimi.
Okay, and
Quasi.
so Quasi spoke and Mimi spoke, so you're both here. The
Yes.
next one I think was Kiana Morse, Alicia Nacenzo, Fior Ortiz Joyner,
Present.
Dr. Ramharic,
Remember Fred's here. Evening, guys.
okay, Yayi Raji, Yaya Raji, sorry about that.
No problem.
Celine Rosado,
Present.
Pebbles Russell,
Present.
Adam Sachs, Ryan Saunders, Meredith Staten, Audrey Tate Hall,
Present.
Nicole Giroux.
Present.
How do you say your last name?
It's Tatro, but that's fine.
Tatro, thank you. Zara Thani, Mark Thurton,
Yeah.
Ethel Tyus, Gib Baconi,
Present.
Eve Villas. Mr. Villas, I thought I saw your name earlier.
He's present.
I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Kimberly- Yes, I can hear you now. Kimberly Watson,
Present.
Issa Weatherspoon,
Present.
Sharon Wedderburn,
Present.
Robert Witherwax, Deborah Young,
Present.
Wilma Zuniga. Did I miss anyone? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We do have a quorum. So I would like to ask a motion for the acceptance of the minutes, please.
So moved.
Any seconds?
Second,
Second.
Lisa Atkinson.
Thank you very much. That would be Sarah Lazore and Lisa Atkinson.
That's correct.
Thank you. Are we doing a roll call for this? Necessary? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to move to our public hearing action items. And we have, all of this is in land use. And I'm going to ask the land use chair, Sharon Wedderburn, this portion, please.
Good evening, everyone. I think I'm having trouble with my camera, so forgive me. So the Land Use Committee, once again, engaging this in September in a series of vigorous conversations. So the first item that came before us last Thursday is 593 Vanderbilt Avenue, docket number LPC 22-07418, an application for certificate of appropriateness. Mr. Nabil Azik presented on behalf of his client, The application is for a proposed retractable roof in the rear yard with clear glass and mullions. The application also involves building a 6-foot high brick fence in the rear yard for an outdoor seating area and in the rear yard for a proposed eating and drinking establishment. The chair noted, that would be me, that this applicant had also been heard by the SLAC committee seeking a liquor license. Committee members asked numerous questions, including that about the mechanical operations of the retractable roof, and inquired as to regards to the extent of community notice regarding the project plans, stating that the structure would be visible from the backyard at 653 Bergen Street. During the meeting, it was noted that the applicant had not reviewed the proposed plans with neighbors and had anecdotally discussed the plans with the liquor store operators next door. Notice of the land use committee meeting was sent to some of the neighbors, but not all of the neighbors, who the committee advised applicants should notify when they're contacted, namely, I should say, especially the neighbors that are abutting the rear yard of the space that would also be affected. Additionally, committee members asked specific questions about the design of the structure, including the roof shape, the color, and the large lot windows. The committee voted 12 in favor, 3 opposed, with 2 abstentions to support the application with the following modifications and the requirement that the applicant send timely notification to all neighbors of the CB8 meeting, as well as the applicant's LPC hearing date. The conditions include change of the color of structure to a more muted color, reducing the height of the structure and the / enclosure, remove all the lot line windows. The committee hopes the full board supports its recommendation.
Thank you, Ms. Wedderburn. Do we have any questions regarding this application? Hearing or seeing none, I'm going to ask a motion.
Ms. Witherspoon, Madam Chair, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Has those
Yes.
conditions been met? I'm sorry, it's Tamika Gibbs. Have those conditions been met?
Ms. Wedderburn?
The conditions are reducing the height of the structure enclosure. So our approval is contingent upon our modifications.
Have they agreed to those conditions? I didn't hear if they agreed to those conditions.
The applicant is actually on the line, so may we ask Mr. Isaac about this rather than me make a representation?
Okay.
Who's not the applicant or applicant representative?
Yeah.
Mr. Isha?
Yes,
Yes. So
I heard the
Mr.
question.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Ms. Wedderburn. Yeah, okay. So I did some changes on the plans to show like the height lowered. I did lower the height on this building. But I need to show it to everyone. Let me see how I'm going to be able to share the screen now. Let me see. Meeting in progress. How am I going to be able to do this? I need to be able to open this in the background. It's only opening here.
Okay, so what you have so far, you have not submitted to the board nor your neighbors. Am I correct?
Let me see if I'm going to just press on share the screen, okay?
Have you, sir, my question is, have you submitted it to the board and your neighbors as required in the recommendations?
No.
Okay.
We just changed the plans, okay? And I need to see if Landmark is willing to keep it as is, but if not, then if Landmark says, you need to lower it as per community board requests, then I'll do. But no, I'm not going to change these yet because it doesn't make sense to change anything that the board recommended. And I mean, I totally understand where they're coming from and I respect their opinion. But as a designer on this project, as the architect of record, as the architect myself on the supervising construction, it doesn't make sense to lower the peak by a certain amount. because it's not really invasive. It's not affecting the neighbors. It's not like the whole wall is all the way up and it's flat and then it becomes really an obstacle. No, what anybody will be able to see, whatever is high, is just the ridge of this gable, and that's not invasive because it disappears literally after 18 inches from the peak. It disappears. It becomes like it goes all the way down to 10 feet. So it's really not invasive. So that I would like to keep. I would like to keep the height. The whole idea about the windows is just to bring more light and air into the space inside. Now we're going to have windows, which means they're going to be closed in wintertime because it will be very cold in wintertime. So there will not be noise coming out of that space. Yes, in the summertime, it will be open unless it's 90 degrees with high humidity, then everything has to be closed, including the windows, and the air conditioning going to be on. So it's only like a few months out of the year where like these windows are going
Mr.
to be open.
Isak, thank you so much because you made your presentation during the meeting. And at the time that we had the meeting last Thursday, we stipulated specific modifications. If you had made those modifications, we would support the application. And that was our recommendation to the committee. So hearing that these changes are not going to be made, I would entertain a motion from the larger body as to this application.
Before we go to a motion, we do have a couple of hands. I did notice Ms. Fio Ortiz Joyner.
Okay.
Ms. Joyner?
Sorry, it took me a while to unmute myself. I believe Ms. Wedderburn actually got to what I was going to say. I just want a clarification that Mr. Ishak was essentially saying that he doesn't make sense to adhere to our recommendations, but Ms. Wedderburn clarified that. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, Mr. Atkins, did you change your mind as well?
I'm in total agreement. It was just it seemed, I don't want to say duplicitous, but it's not what was agreed upon. So I'm waiting for the motion to come forward because I got an idea what's coming. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you, Ms. Lazar.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to withhold support for the application.
I second that motion, Tanika Gibbs.
Can Mr. Ishak stop sharing his screen now?
Yes, Mr. Ishak, can you take down your screen, please?
Stop sharing. Okay.
Thank you. So
Okay,
we
sorry.
have, that's okay. We have Sarah Lazar as the motion maker and Tamika Gibbs has seconded that. Roll call. Can we have the vote?
I have a comment on the motion.
Yes.
Hi.
Mr. Witherwax.
Would the motion maker entertain rephrasing that to say that we support the committee's original proposition? That way we have something positive going to LPC that says these are the terms under which we would support this, rather than we don't support the application. I'm just curious.
Ms. Lazar?
If our parliamentarians suggest, I think that that sounds reasonable. Sometimes the negatives and double negatives get me a little bit caught up.
Yeah, it just seems to me that the committee did good work. It gave the applicant a set of criteria. If they made these changes, we would support it. The applicant is still considering it, and he maybe thinks he can get by with LPC without our support. But here are the conditions under which we'd support it.
Thank you, Mr. Weatherwax. Are you in agreement, Ms. Lazar, with that adjustment?
Yes, I think so. I also see that Mr. Vicconi has raised his hand. I'm wondering if maybe he also has 2 cents about the phrasing.
Mr. Vicconi?
Yeah, I just wanted to suggest a way to sort of harmonize those 2 suggestions, and that is to move that that the board withholds support until such time as the modifications recommended by the committee are incorporated into the plans.
Okay.
Said.
Yeah, I think that
You can agree with
what's
that?
in my mind. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Gibbs. Same as for you as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. So we just to say again, we have Sarah Lazar as a motion maker and Tamika Gibbs as the person that's seconding. Can we get a vote, please, Ms. Granville?
Linda Andrews,
Yes.
Abyssinia Asuquo,
Yes.
Desmond Atkins,
Yes.
Lisa Atkinson,
Yes.
Princess Ben James,
Yes.
Julia Boyd, Gail Branch Muhammad,
Yes.
Marva Brown Henry,
Yes.
Jacques Brunville,
Yes.
Robert Callahan,
Yes.
Nora Daniel,
Yes.
Diane Duke,
Abstain. Abstain.
Andrea Ferris,
Yes.
Michael Francheur,
No.
Fred Frazier, Drew Gabriel,
Yes.
Tamika Gibbs,
Yes.
Najani Granville, yes. Jeannie Harris Blenman,
Yes.
Colin Jacobic, Zozima Jordan,
Yes.
What was Mr. Jakubczyk's vote? I didn't hear.
Oh, sorry. I said yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
thank you. Regina Kinsey,
Ms. Jordan?
I had called Miss Jordan before, I thought. Miss Jordan, did you say yes before?
Yes.
Okay. Regina Kinsey, Francis Langley, Dr. Sarah Lazur,
Yes.
Quasi Menza,
Yes.
Mimi Mitchell,
Yes.
Kiana Morse. I heard Miss Mitchell. Did I hear Miss Morse? Alicia Nacenzo, VR Ortiz Joyner,
Yes.
Dr. Rahamick, Yaya Raji,
Yes.
Pebbles Russell,
Yes.
Adam Sachs, Ryan Saunders,
Yes.
Meredith Staten, Audrey Tate Hall,
Yes.
Nicole Terrell,
Yes.
Zara Thani, Mark Thurton, Ethel Tyus,
Abstain. I'm late, so I don't know the issue.
E. Villas.
Yes.
Mark, you said yes?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you. Kimberly Watson,
Yes.
Issa Witherspoon,
Yes.
Sharon Wedderburn,
I'm sorry,
Yes.
Granville. I'm sorry. We need to go back. I didn't hear Give Vaconi and East Villas.
okay. E. Villas, did you say anything? How did you vote? Give Vaconi, did I fail to hear you?
I do believe you skipped me. I vote yes.
I'm sorry about that. Thank you.
I didn't hear my name. This is Celine Rosado.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Ms. Rosado, I'm sorry.
Yes, it's okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Well,
Wait.
thank you for bringing it to our attention before we thought we were finished with the vote. So thank you so much. Sharon Wedderburn,
Yes.
Robert Witherwax,
Yes.
Deborah Young,
Yes.
Vilma Zuniga.
Did we hear from Mr. East Villas?
I thought we did, but maybe
Okay.
I am misspeaking. Mr. Villas, are you there?
He's there, but we can't hear him.
Maybe he's muted.
Just shake your head, yes or no.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't hear Kim Watson either.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a breakdown of the vote, please?
Can I get Kimberly Watson's vote?
I voted yes.
Thank you. 36 in favor, 2 abstentions and 1 no. 36, 2 abstentions, 1 no.
Thank you so much. Next item, Ms. Weatherburn.
Ms. Wedderburn, before I leave, just can you repeat, please, the motion that, what you guys decided and voted on?
I'm so sorry. I had difficulty unmuting myself. I'll read the original motion to you, sir. Hold on. Our motion was that
We should be reading the
new
motion that Mr. Vakosh, that's right, Mr. Vaconi assembled along with Mr. Wittlewax.
Gentlemen, please.
Well, support is withheld unless the applicant meets those criteria that the committee voted to support.
And just as a reminder, the criteria were change the color of the structure enclosure to a more muted color, reduce the height of the structure / enclosure, remove all lot line windows.
Okay. All right. Oh, thank you. So we're all done here?
And notify the neighbors. Wasn't that one of the conditions as well? I'm sorry, Ms. Weatherburn.
Yes, that was in the body, but specifically
Okay.
have bulleted requests, specific modifications that we needed. Thank you, Ms. Gibbs.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ishak.
We're all done, right?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Have a good evening. Thanks.
And you do the same. Ms. Weatherburn, next item.
The next item up for review is 910 St. John's Place, legalization of work without LPC permit. Mr. Adam Uster, the homeowner of 910 St. John's Place, presented his application to legalize a shed installed in front of his property. The shed is completely self-supporting and not anchored to either the building or the non-original sidewalk. The shed is made of corrugated aluminum painted in a dark gray. The dimensions are 75 inches wide, 75 inches deep, and 55 inches tall. Mr. Uster noted that LPC regulations categorize the shed as furniture as it is not anchored and consequently install the shed under the assumption that the shed as furniture was under the purview of LPC. Additionally, he stated after consulting his neighbors, at least one of whom attended the land use meeting, they did not have issue with the shed as it currently exists in the front yard. Explaining the need for the shed, Mr. Uster informed the committee that the shed is used to store the families and the ground floor tenants' bicycles. He stated that the decision to utilize a shed was made to avoid an unsightly tarp and unnecessary wires and cables to hold it in place over the stored bicycles. On behalf of the Crown Heights North Association, Ms. Deborah Young stated that China does not support the applicant's request for legalization of the shed due to the applicant's negligence to first receive the proper permits before installing the structure. Mr. Vaconi noted that it's very rare that a legalization application gets the support of the committee. He let the applicant know that the lack of support was less about the specific application and more about setting an unfortunate precedent if this legalization was approved. Mr. Oster said that he was open to suggestions as to possible alterations to the shed that would result in the shed being approved. The committee voted 10 in favor, 8 opposed, with 1 abstention to withhold support for the application for legalization of the shed. It hopes the full board supports its recommendation.
Thank you, Ms. Wedderburn. Do we have any questions regarding this application? Mr. Francois?
Yeah, hey everybody. I'm a new member, so I know I haven't met all of you, but
Hello. I'm not on this committee, but I did listen in on it. I just wanted to note that it was a pretty close vote. It was 10 in favor of the motion, and then 8 against and 1 abstention, so 10 to 9. I think it was for a pretty good reason. I do understand, I think the main issue in the committee was that we don't approve legalization if the owner doesn't get the permits beforehand, which makes sense. And I think in most cases it does, but I've talked to Adam, the homeowner, and he's a first time homeowner learning the LPC process, the landmarks process, and let's be honest, I'm learning the LPC process a little bit as well. The PDF online is like 260 pages long, so it's not the simplest process. So I don't know that this was really out of negligence, but more out of kind of learning the process. And I don't believe that he was trying to subvert the process of landmarks in this situation. In that long PDF, landmarks actually does approve or lets the staff approve without hearings furniture like trash enclosures. In form, this really doesn't. This bike shed doesn't really differ from that of like a trash enclosure. I think their guidance in that online is that they want it to match the facade or be a neutral color, which I do think this bike shed does do. So yeah, I just year. It has the support of members on his block and some members of his block association. So I don't think that our community board really needs to send Adam to landmarks with a black mark on his record. So I just wanted to give my 2 cents and say that I'll be voting no on this, and I'd encourage other members of the community board just to take a quick look at this issue.
Thank you for your input. Okay, in this order, Mr. Callahan, Mr. Widowax, Mr. Vacconi, and Ms. Young.
Thanks, Ms. Witherspoon. Mr. Francoeur actually sort of voiced did a good job of summarizing the opposition to this motion. But I do just want to restate that as a person who voted no and my opposition to this was not noted in the notes, that I do think that this is an opportunity for us to at least provide some sort of set of clear steps for the homeowner to put a structure that seems to, in everything but name and process, comport with the rules of LPC on a path to legalization. I really don't think that we need to be voting against this. I do think that this is a misapplication of a well-intentioned process. So I will also be voting no on this. Thank you.
Thank you for your input, Mr. Widowax.
Yeah, how tall is this shed?
Hello?
If anybody knows.
Mr. Witherwax, it's 55 inches tall as noted in the notes.
So talk to me in feet. I'm sorry. I missed that in the notes.
Sorry, it's just under 5 feet.
6 feet.
All right, so it's not exactly like an extra room that they've added to their house, right? And it's removable. It's totally, it could be taken down and put up again at will. Yeah, I'm with the 2 gentlemen who have spoken already. I think this is a misabuse, a misapplication of our powers. I don't foresee people suddenly. I don't see.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, Mr. Widowax. Whoever has their mic open and not speaking, can you please mute yourself? Thank you so much. Please resume.
No problem. I just don't see this unleashing a wave of front yard sheds on landmark blocks if we okay this admittedly well-intentioned but mistaken a new addition to our neighborhood. So yeah, I think I'll be voting no on this as well. But I appreciate the distinction.
Thank you, Mr. Vacconi.
Thank you. I'd just like to clarify what this application is and what it's and versus what it should have been. An application to legalize is not the same thing as an application for a certificate of no effect, which is what Mr. Francoeur mentioned. That would be the path that this would take at LPC, and that would involve the applicant working with staff and potentially having the staff address any issues with the design to help make the proposed structure blend into the historic fabric of the district. What we're talking about here is a legalization, which means going around the staff at LPC to accomplish that. The reason that I'm concerned about that and why I can't ever remember a legalization passing at any point in this community board is because if we pass legalizations, we're doing two things. The first is we're sort of showing the Landmarks Commission we're not really serious about having them review work done that's publicly visible in the historic district, which is maybe not a message we want to send. And number two, we're encouraging other property owners to seek forgiveness instead of permission. And the problem with that is it causes the community board to make the kinds of design calls that the landmark staff would otherwise be making. And the community board is just not set up to do that. We don't have preservationists on staff. We don't have the time and the resources to help property owners in this way. The reason that we have historic districts in this community board is because we have had community associations that feel very strongly about preservation and want to see the historic context of their neighborhoods maintained through the involvement of the Landmarks Preservation Commission. So the path that Mr. Callahan mentioned for this application is actually to apply for a certificate of no effect and work with landmark staff to put a shed in front of the house that meets their criteria, not to obviate the process of working with the preservationists at the Landmarks Commission. So I will be supporting the committee's recommendation, and I think it's the sensible one in terms of the resources that are available to the community board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vacconi. Ms. Young?
Okay. Thank you, Chairwoman Witherspoon. I echo Mr. Gib Vacconi's sentiments, so I don't want to take the time to repeat what was said. I do want to say, however, I do believe that it sets a precedence, if we go forward and support this application. There appears to be another venue in which he can try to get approval for what he needs to achieve, as was mentioned by Mr. Gib Vacconi. So I do ask the committee to support the committee's recommendation to withhold support for this application, and vote yes to support the committee's recommendation to withhold support.
Thank you, Ms. Young. Next would be Mimi Mitchell. Then I'm not sure if it's a Miss or a Mr. Hug. And finally, Adam Uster, in that order, please. Thank you. So, Ms. Mitchell?
Yes. Hi, good evening. I'm actually here with two other land use committee members, Jack Robinson and Nix Lamel. And we've been, sorry, I'm trying to get this. I can't see myself. But anyways, if I'm not mistaken, and I just want to make sure of this, I actually am with Robert Callahan and Witherwax, and I'm sorry, I only know by the first name Michael. Actually, we all also agree.
What happened to her voice?
Are you still speaking? Oh, you were going in and out.
I'm so sorry if I am.
Okay. Yeah.
My understanding is that there was regulations did not actually speak to bicycle sheds. It only spoke to garbage sheds. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is what the applicant had said. And therefore, it isn't, since it didn't speak to it, and it basically is the size of a typical garbage receptacle, I think anybody with any, type of logic, a homeowner, especially a first-time one, would assume that it could be done. Like we've established, I don't think that the homeowner was trying to circumvent any rules. He sounded like he would have been happy to have come to us first. And in fact, i.e. garbage sheds, doesn't actually, bike sheds doesn't actually exist, then it's
She's straightening it out.
Okay, so Ms. Mitchell, Ms. Mitchell, we get the gist of what you're saying, but you are going in
Thank
and
you.
out, but we
Oh,
do
I
understand what you're saying.
apologize.
That, how would you know? It's
Apologies,
okay.
apologies.
It's no problem. It happens. So I'm just going to move on to Uster Hug and
Hi.
then Adam Uster. Oh, Frederic, Miss Uster Hug. Welcome, please.
Yes, thank you. Hi, I'm Adam's wife. And thank you so much for hearing or taking this issue on. And I do agree that we did not want at in any point circumvent any rules, and we would be happy to comply with a motion to make the shed more landmark friendly, to add greenery, and or make it slightly smaller or paint it another color. It would, and we could take it down within half a day or even shorter. So it's not something that just is not permanent. And so yeah, if this doesn't pass, then it's just a really big inconvenience for us and our family, because of the kids' bikes are there, our bikes are there, and I wouldn't know where to place them in the meantime until we can get this process through again properly. But I understand your concern, and I understand your concern, and we would have gone the proper way had we known about this. So I'm truly sorry to have not followed the proper rules. Thank
you,
you.
Frederic. Okay, Mr. Uster, do you have anything to add? You're muted. We can't hear you. You're muted. Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Clearly.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'd just like to respond to Mr. Bicconi and Ms. Young. We have been working with LPC on this. We have talked to the preservationist, Michelle Crarin there, who's the senior staff preservationist. She had not expressed any denial of the shed or criticism in terms of the aesthetics. Their problem is that in the landmarks guidelines, and I've done, of course, now lots of research, and as a first-time homeowner and young father, parent, we, talk to our neighbors, talk to the block association, people in the area, and this was the consensus that we followed. But since then, talking to the staff preservationist, the issue is that because it's not word for word specified in the guidelines, it can't be approved at staff level because it specifically says garbage enclosure. And the minute you have an enclosure, which is for anything other than garbage, it automatically kicks it up to a public hearing, which is the point at which we were referred to the community board. In the LPC guidelines, it doesn't state in the application process to seek the approval of the community board at any step. But we learned that prior to going to public hearing with landmarks, as with the other applications, we do have to come before the community board, which is why we find ourselves here and meeting you lovely folks. So, so it's a large gray area. And to also put it in relation to the other, it's much smaller, obviously, than the other proposals, but it is, the same color, height as other enclosures on the block and in the neighborhood. There's actually exactly the same model garbage enclosure on Park Place, the same color, the same height. That one's for garden tools and not for a bicycle. I think, I don't know if this is worth, making a point or a legal stance on. We are very open to working with the community board. And again, that's why we're here, and we're not trying to weasel our way out of anything. And we also totally understand your position. And as my wife mentioned, we'd like to also make a motion that if the proposal is denied, that we're able to file a proposed revised design that might be more amenable to the community board, because the current proposal is okay with LPC, but it's the community board that's taking issue, and we would like to put additional plants in front of it.
Okay, thank you. You've expressed really well your interest in what you really want to do, and
Sorry,
I
I'd
hear
also
your
like
heart.
to add that we do have, sorry, one more point. We do have the support of our 12 nearest neighbors. I think some of which are on the call.
Okay,
so
thank you. I just
they
want to
have
move
also
on because
written
we don't. I don't mean to interrupt, but I have to. I just want to move this along. As I was saying, we hear your heart. At least I do. And we appreciate what it is that you are expressing. I'm going to go to Mr. Widowax, Mr. Bocconi, and Sharon Wedderburn will be last. I'm sorry, Ethel Ty. Let me do the order again. Widowax, Bocconi, Tyus, and Wedderburn. Thank you.
Yeah, no, this is very interesting what Mr. Ooster just said about what LPC is telling him. I mean, it's always better to ask for permission than forgiveness, right? And if there's something more, if this was something more than a glorified storage locker, if this was something more permanent, I'd be in Mr. Vicconi's camp. And to the homeowners, many of us have suffered under keeping bikes inside. It's not too much of a hardship for the short term, but at the end of the day, I just don't think this is a battle that we at CB need to fight. I think we should support the property owners' right to do with their property, and I don't think this is a detriment to our landmark district.
Thank you, Mr. Weatherwax. Mr. Bocconi?
Hi, it sounds to me from what the applicants just said that there is a way through this. They've just said that the preservationists at the Landmarks Commission will support this. And so I see no reason why they don't just file the certificate of appropriateness, and the community board would likely support it. The problem is that we have, let me just put it this way. We've heard many applications for legalizations over the years that I've probably been on the land use committee now for 10 years. Every single person who comes in for a permit for legalization says, I didn't know the rules. I didn't understand. I thought this would be okay. It doesn't represent any bad faith on your part. I'm sure that you didn't know the rules. I'm sure that it wasn't clear. But as a practical matter, we are not set up to decide in the place of the Landmarks Preservation Commission. We're just not. We don't have the resources to do that. And it would have maybe been helpful to have the letter from the preservationist you described, but we're really, you're asking us to kind of operate on the basis of what you've just explained. And we'd kind of be in the position of doing the same thing for the next applicant that came in too. Since you believe you don't have a problem with the preservationists at Landmarks and they will approve your plans, why not just submit the COA and have them approve it? And the community board will be happy to hear that application.
That's the process that I'm in right now, and that this is part of that process. So
well,
the next step after this meeting is to go before the LPC in a public hearing. That's what I was trying to explain, is that this is part of the process as explained to me by the LPC. I can't get a certificate until I have the public hearing, and I can't go before the public hearing until I've presented it before the community board. So that's what I'm trying to explain, is that I am following the protocol at this point, and this is the protocol outlined to me by the LPC.
Yes, but you're applying for a legalization, not a certificate of appropriateness.
So Gib, maybe our motion could be to support a certificate of appropriateness.
I mean, if once they apply for a certificate, they will be back in front of the community board, and we can then vote on it.
But I don't think that's the process he's engaged in.
Well, no, he wants a legalization, but voting for a legalization is fraught for us.
If this was something that was permanent, I would be in your camp, but this is a temporary structure. Are we going to start asking for legalizations for every, what do they call it? For Sukkot, right? We're not going to do that.
I think if
I have a comment I'd like to make too.
Your turn.
Wait a minute, who's the chair of this?
Yeah, exactly. 1 second, Ms. Tyus. I would like Mr. Bocconi to finish what it is
I
that he's
interrupted.
saying.
I apologize.
Mr. Widowax or Mr. Bocconi? I was asking Bocconi. Widowax.
Mr. Bocconi's actually, this will be
let
the
me just
second
let,
time Mr. Bocconi's speaking,
let
so
me just
he's up.
let me just wrap up to say that
Thank you.
again, you know, this is, it sounds like the applicant already has the support of the Landmarks Commission. He can help us by avoiding setting a precedent that potentially will create an issue with other applicants and bring us into a place that we're not really prepared to respond to. So respectfully, I would ask that the applicant do that. And we're happy. Well, I'm sure everybody will be happy to hear that again. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Tides, did you want to add anything?
Yes, I do. Thank you for the
Please.
opportunity. I live with an avid cyclist. I have 5 bikes in my ground floor hallway. Okay, and I think there's a major difference on LPC's part with a garbage shed, a trash shed in an areaway, a front areaway, compared to a bicycle shed. There's health issues and yeah, just health issues and smell and whatever with putting garbage in a shed outside. Bicycles don't deserve that sort of diminution of what we all appreciate as a historic district that we all fought for. Why buy in a historic district if you're going to piece by piece take it down? That's all I have to say on that. I support the committee's recommendation to withhold support.
Thank you. Ms. Wedderburn and then Sheena. Ms. Wedderburn?
So as the applicants and those present in this meeting can hear, this is something that could happen. The outsized discussion, not in the appropriate venue by which we would have to make a decision. And the hesitancy, I feel, is based upon setting a precedent. The applicant has expressed a willingness to work with something. The Crown Heights Neighborhood Association would work with that applicant. If we're going to have bike sheds in our historic districts, why not set a model with a prototype? Mr. Uster, you may be the first person that got tagged for this. No doubt there may be other applicants in the future. This is fraught, and the easiest way for you to be able to go through the way forward would be to file for a certificate of appropriateness. And yes, you would be coming forth before the land use committee again, but we would have a better idea and a better model because you would have the opportunity to not also consult with LPC, but to understand the community needs by those who were the advocates for landmarking the block and the area with which you have purchased a home.
Thank you. Sheena?
Yes, I'm a neighbor of the Ulsters, the applicants, and I too have small children as they do, and I can tell you that it's very difficult to get around the city and get to drop off and pick up and school and daycare in a timely manner when you have to cover a lot of ground, and that having easy access to bikes is very, very helpful. So although I certainly respect that many of us have to make sacrifices of keeping our bicycles indoors, with children under the age of 5, having easier access to those bicycles makes a much of a difference in our lives. And I'll add that this is a beautiful historic district, but I want to make sure that we also protect the integrity of our community, which includes parents with young children. And I appreciate the committee's time and support the applicant.
Thank you, Sheena. And lastly, Mr. Bobby Zip.
Yeah, hi, that's me. Thank you. I'm a new resident to the neighborhood, so hi everyone. I'm just gonna comment in support of the applicants based on what I've heard as good faith for trying to preserve the spirit of the community while balancing the need for historic preservation. And I guess I just wanted to add that yesterday's history was once, the present day, and what we consider now as historical was once commonplace. And this might be the first of many historic bicycle sheds. I mean, that's a silly argument, but I want to just, encourage everyone to have perspective. And I'm always going to be in support of a family or of a person who has immediate needs and immediate problems over, hypotheticals. I think what it sounds like is that the Landmarks Commission, I'm not entirely sure the terminology, but it sounds like that they're working to get the shed approved anyway, and that the only result of this body not approving or providing an approval is that they have to, take it down and then put it back up in a few months or however long that process takes. And so for the sake of, this family with young children, like I think that I want to keep as many roadblocks out of their already busy lives as possible. So I think if we can make their process, which it sounds like we all know is going to be reasonable and eventually get approved, I am in support of the applicants.
Thank you so much. Okay, so remaining is Ms. Ortiz Joyner and Lisa Atkins. Ms. Joyner.
Hi, thank you, Chair. I'm in agreement with Mr. Vicconi's route. Being a member of the Crown Heights North Association, who has for, and the reasons for those brown signs in the Crown Heights North community are because of the Crown Heights North Association. I too have items that could possibly be stored outside, but would it be fair for me to get a pod and put it in front of my house, the same size or whatever color I want? These are the reasons for landmarking. And if we're gonna live and choose to live in an area where it's historically designated, and as Ms. Tyus said, and then come along and try to change things, then perhaps we should think about where we choose to buy or to live if you're going to change the landmark and of the landscape of the block and the community.
Thank you, Ms. Atkinson.
It's really to piggyback off of everyone that's in support of the land use committee. I voted in support, and my thing is that I understand the whole bike shed. It doesn't look as bad, and yes, it doesn't. And everybody's like, "Oh, it's just a shed," but they're not understanding that when you move into the community, and it's a landmark preservation community, you have to respect what the process is. You have to respect, even if you don't know, you must learn these things. These are things that you have to learn when you move into communities. You come into a community, you like the way it looked, and the reason why you like the way it looks is because committees like land use haven't voted on them, making sure that things don't go against what the community is about. So I understand as a mom that you want to have your bikes or nice and neat, but it's just the process is, if you go through the right process from the beginning, this wouldn't be an issue, and you're learning. And so hopefully you'll follow what Gibbs said and get the proper certificate and then come back to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Atkinson. Ms. Lazar, I barely saw your hand because it fades right in the background.
Yeah,
Please
sorry.
go ahead.
I also have concerns about the precedent of legalization, and I'm wondering, maybe this is a procedural question, is it possible for the community board to issue a statement saying we don't want this to be a legalization, but we support a certificate of non-effect? Can we do that? Could that, or is it absolutely necessary to go that certificate of appropriateness or non-effect route? Would we have to reject this and then have the applicant go and just file different paperwork with LPC? I don't know. Are we allowed to just say in our statement that we would like a certificate of non-effect, but not a legalization?
I would agree with that.
I would second that, third that.
If there are no other comments, I would like to make one observation and then make a motion along the lines that Dr. Lazar has just expressed.
Please go right ahead.
The testimony from Sheena and from Mr. Zip actually, I think, points out the likelihood that if we were to support a legalization, we very well might see more bicycle sheds go up as legalizations without going through the Landmarks Commission. So with that in mind, I would like to make a motion that the board withhold support for the legalization, but encourage the applicants to file for the necessary certificate with the Landmarks Preservation Commission and present that to the board.
I second.
Do we have a second? Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
second.
Thank you. This is Ms. Muhammad.
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Baconi's made the motion. Gail Muhammad has seconded. Can we have a vote, please?
What is the vote to withhold? I mean, to uphold the rejection of the request?
Correct.
So yes is no, in essence, right?
Right. Correct.
And can I ask whether the motion maker thinks it would be appropriate to include a statement to the effect that we have no problem with this particular bicycle shed's design?
I mean, I don't know that we actually reviewed it to that level in committee. So and we haven't seen, the general meeting hasn't seen plans or renderings of it. So it's hard for me to say that based on what's been presented in this meeting.
Correct.
We can only vote on what has been presented.
I'm sorry, but I'm a bit confused because you're asking me to follow the process, which I've done, which is which has gotten me to this point. So I ask that if our proposal is denied, that the committee outline a process that I can take to Landmarks, saying that the committee has denied the process that Landmarks has suggested, and this is the process that the committee and community board is suggesting. Because I don't think anyone really understands the process here. And this is, again, what has landed me here has been doing research, and this is why I'm here in front of you today.
Let me then help you out on that one. We do understand the process because we've gotten many applications for legalizations over the years, and they all begin this way. The Landmarks Preservation Commission says to an applicant, you didn't follow the process, you now have a violation. You have an opportunity to make a pitch to the community board to have it legalized, and if they are in support of it, we'll consider going along with it, but otherwise you need to file for a certificate. That is the process, and that's the process we're asking you to go through. There's nothing novel about it.
So if I'm understanding you take issue with the wording in the
Mr.
presentation.
Uster?
Okay.
Can you hear me? Okay, so we have a motion on the table and we need to respect that process. Okay, so there's a motion that has been made and seconded, and I'm asking for the vote, please.
Ms. Witherspoon, that's not appropriate. If there are questions on the motion, you're supposed to recognize members of the committee to ask questions on the motion.
Did you have a question? I didn't see your hands up. Is
Yes.
your hand up?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Witherspoon. It's been up the whole time.
So please go ahead. I didn't see it. I saw everyone else's.
Thank you, Ms. Witherspoon. I am here to ask the motion maker, Mr. Vacconi, if he can at least understand and see that this is going to create an even longer process for someone who has tried so hard to do this the right way. And I just want to at least see if it is possible to make it so that this person doesn't have to come back to us again months later, and that perhaps we could amend the motion to say that we are in support of a certificate of no effect, because as I recall, as a member of the committee, he did in fact present not only drawings and renderings, but plans, etc. He's shown pictures of it. We've had an opportunity to review in committee, and I think that it is inappropriate to continue to belabor this already incredibly belabored process. That is my request.
Thank you. Before you speak, Mr. Vacconi, we have two more folks that have their hands up, Ms. Glenda Andrews and Ms. Marva Brown Henry.
Yes, I'm just a little confused. What is the motion on the table right now?
Okay, so we hold off, because I just want to see if someone else has a question before we get to that. Ms. Brown Henry?
I just wanted to say that during this whole conversation, I Googled the address, and the picture that comes up on Google Photos shows the address and the structure. And I think Mr. Callahan just said that the renderings and everything was presented to committee. But what's the time frame of them, the family going and getting a certificate of no effect? I mean, because my concern is, are they going to have to take this structure down now to then go apply for this new thing? Or is there no way that we can say we don't want to legalize, but we would be fine with a certificate of no effect, like today, so that they can just move on to the next step in the process with LPC. And because, you know, the certificate of appropriateness and all this, it just says something that changes the architectural structure of the property. And this is not that. So on the whole block, there's all the trash cans and things like that. And this is basically a little bit bigger, right, than a regular sized trash can on a multifamily dwelling. But is it really changing the architectural structure of the property? So can we just give them their certificate of no effect and let them move on?
I second that motion.
Okay, Ms. Tyus, did you have something to add before we?
Yes, on procedural grounds, Madam Chair, we have a motion seconded on the floor, not on the table, which means you're putting it off to another date and time. We've had questions on the motion. I think the motion that is on the floor has been clarified, and I urge you to call for a vote.
Okay, I agree with you. Mr. Bocconi, could you restate the motion, please?
Yes, the motion is that the board withholds support for legalization, but encourage the applicant to file for the necessary certificate. The reason that I say necessary certificate is because I only have the applicant to rely on for whether it's a certificate of no effect or a certificate of appropriateness. The issue is not really whether we think that it's a nice looking structure or not. Again, we've sort of spoken about what the issue is here. So the motion is to withhold support, but to encourage the applicant to file for the necessary certificate, whatever that may be. I'll say to
that
answer.
wasn't Dr. Lazar's. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but that was not Dr. Lazar's motion. That
No, it
was
was
not
my
the motion. That was
no.
your motion.
The point of order, that was my motion and it was seconded.
Right, but wasn't Sarah's on, excuse me, I'm sorry, Dr. Lazar's, was that not a motion that was being put forward and seconded?
I had just asked a question. It was a procedural question. I hadn't made a motion.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Forgive me,
Thank you.
Tim.
Thank you. Go
And
ahead,
the motion
Mr.
maker is
Bocconi.
unwilling to entertain Mr. Callahan's suggestion to make that a two-pronged motion. We do not support legalization, but we do support a certificate of blank, blank, blank.
Again, I'm unwilling to do that because I want the preservationists of the Landmarks Commission directly involved in the application. I don't want us to try to somehow circumvent their input. That's what in my view, that is what the historic district is for.
I think so too.
I just want to remind everyone that we have to vote according to how it's been presented. Let's not lose our track and focus. That's what we have to do. So the vote, we want to call a vote. We have a Sarah Lazar. Do you still second Mr. Bocconi's motion?
I think it was Ms. Muhammad.
Oh, it's Ms. Muhammad. Yes, excuse me. Ms. Muhammad, do you still in agreement with the motion maker?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. So I will ask again for the vote. Miss Granville, thank you.
Glenda Andrews.
Yes.
Abyssinia Asukwo.
Yes.
Desmond Atkins.
Yes.
Lisa Atkinson.
Yes.
Princess Ben James.
Yes.
Julia Boyd. Gail Branch Muhammad. Margaret Brown Henry.
No.
Jacques Brunville.
Yes.
Robert Callahan.
No.
Nora Daniel. Diane Duke.
Abstain.
Andrea Ferris.
Yes.
Michael Francheur.
I'm a no.
Fred Frazier. Drew Gabriel.
Yes.
Tamika Gibbs.
Yes.
Najani Granville, yes. Jeannie Harris Blendman, Colin Jacobsic,
No.
Zerzima Jordan.
Yes.
Yes, for Jeannie Harris Blendman.
Okay. Regina Kinsey, Francis Langley, Dr. Sarah Lazore,
Yes.
Quasi Menza,
Yes.
Mimi Mitchell,
No.
Kiana Morse, I heard something. Was that Miss Morse?
I don't believe she's here today.
Okay. Alicia Nasenzo, Dr. Herrick,
No.
Yaya Raji.
Wait, we skipped Fior Ortiz Joyner.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Fior Ortiz Joyner.
So yes.
Okay. Now, Dr. Herrick, did she say anything?
Said no. Thank you.
Okay. Yaya Raji,
Yes.
Celine Bizzardo,
Yes.
Pebbles Russell, Adam Sachs, Brian Saunders, Meredith Staten, Audrey Tate Hall,
Yes.
Nicole Terrell,
Yes.
Zara Thaney, Mark Thurton,
Yes.
Ethel Tyus,
Yes.
Gib Baconi,
Yes.
E. Villas, Kimberly Watson,
No.
Issa Witherspoon,
Yes.
Wait, I couldn't hear what Miss Watson said.
My vote was no.
Sharon Wedderburn,
Yes.
Robert Witherwax,
All due respect to the committee, no.
Deborah Young,
Yes.
Vilma Zuniga. Did I miss anyone?
Ms. George, can we have the breakdown of the vote, please?
We have 25 in favor, 9 against, and 1 abstention.
Thank you so much. Okay, so that's it.
Sorry, just a
Ms. Wedderburn?
quick question. Could I have a copy of the motion or in writing so that I can bring to the preservationist so that she might understand exactly the wording that Mr. Baconi suggested? I'm not sure when the minutes of the meeting will be available.
Can that be produced, Ms. George? Or do we just rely on the letter that comes with this lack of support to LPC?
Well, the letter that we sent to LPC won't have the motion. So
Right, it will just have what we recommended. But can we do this for Mr. Uster?
Sure, yeah. Sure, we can do
Great, thank you. So
Thank
the
you,
office
appreciate
will
it.
be in contact with you, sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Wedderburn, have you completed?
So I just wanted to share that we deliberated upon 3 items. There was an application for alterations for 1450 Pacific Street. At this time, hearing what the concerns were during the committee meeting, the applicant and his architecture will hew to some of the comments that were made and will come back next month to make another presentation of their pending project. So I would love to tell everybody this is the thoughtfulness that we put into the community when we serve. We may disagree, but we should all respectfully disagree. And I think our purpose is to make where we live, where we serve, where we work a better community. So once again, land use meets on the first Thursday of the month. Come October, come again. Let's hear some more applications.
Thank you very much. I want to go to, we have two of our offices here waiting to speak. Mr. Tony Herbert from the mayor's office. And after Mr. Herbert, Miss Assemblywoman Stephanie Zinnemer. Thank you. Mr. Herbert?
Good evening, everybody. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Hope you had a great summer. Hope you had a safe and cool one, although it was kind of hot. On behalf of the mayor, I bring greetings, and also to let you know in this season, I'm here to support in whatever way that I can. So please do not hesitate to reach out. I'll be working very closely with the board to get things done. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your assistance. Next, Miss Assemblywoman Stephanie Zinnemer. I want to say Miss. Excuse me for that, please. Assembly member? Actually, oh, I see you. Okay, please. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Happy September. Glad to be back with you all. I hope everybody had a pleasant summer. I want to talk about a number of events that we're having this month, but I also want to make you aware that we are hosting the state office committee on people with disabilities is having a public hearing on Tuesday, September 13th at 10 a.m. It will be in Albany, and it is a hearing that we're calling and asking the office with people with developmental disabilities to come before us and answer questions from the public about the 507 plan that the agency and the governor put out earlier this year. As you know, there's a new commissioner, Kim Hill, and this plan actually identifies 3 major goals for the next 5 years, and that is to support people in a more person-centered way, strengthening the workforce, and improving service systems across the state. The committee is looking at service systems across the state in 3 kind of bucket areas: access, accessibility, and quality. And as many of you know, I'm on the Labor Committee and the chair of the Subcommittee on Emerging Workforce. And so we're looking at which career paths that we will be helping to create and strengthen for people with disabilities. The state actually hires a number of individuals, but we're also trying to incentivize community-based organizations and for-profit institutions as well. And so that will again take place Tuesday, September 13th, and you will have the opportunity to testify, ask questions, or just look at it on the assembly page. This coming Sunday, we will be commemorating the 9/11, September 11th tragedy. Each year, the Vulcans come to the district, and that's the Black firefighters, to honor 6 of their fallen firefighters here on the Bedford-Stuyvesant side of the district. And so people are welcome to come to that commemoration. But we're also asking Black attendant associations to conduct their own special commemoration that day. We're putting together packets for people to not only commemorate 9/11, but to also celebrate Grandparents' Day, because this year it falls on September 11th. And we also have included a little ceremony that we hope that people would participate in wishing our scholars a great school year. And so the packet contains materials for the commemoration, the celebration, and the ceremony. And we hope that you all will sign up. We've had several Black associations sign up already. You still have the opportunity to do so. I can share that information in the chat. Next the Tuesday, the 14th, we are continuing our housing forum series, and we will be hosting the second one. This one is going to be on home ownership, and it is going to take place at Restoration Plaza. We have Valerie White from LISC, and she'll be talking about some funding that is available for first-time homeowners. The state will come and talk about the down payment assistance they will be providing. We'll also have Impact and Habitat from Humanity. And just the purpose of this is that we know that home ownership is a way to build wealth, but it is also a way to not to be at the caprices of unscrupulous landlords, and it also helps people to start small businesses and take their put their children through college. So as we look toward how to stabilize our housing market, we're trying to get more people into the system. I think the following, I'm not going to go through all of the events because I think I've sent it already to the community board, and you all should get my newsletter. But we're having a first ever handball tournament in the district on the 17th at St. John's Park. And so these under the kind of this sports development umbrella, we're going to be hosting a number of sports events to let young people know that sports is not only good for just your athleticism and teamwork, but it's also a great career pathway if you choose to do that, and not just as an athlete, but as a coach or business owner. And so we're going to be exploring all of those things. The tournament will take place at St. John's Park next Saturday, the 17th. Starts at 8 a.m. to sign up, and it goes through 6 p.m. So if anybody has any questions, I'm here to answer those questions. And you all know that my office is located in Restoration Plaza, 1368 Fulton Street on the 3rd floor, 718-399-7630. Please let's be in contact across this year. There's a lot for us to do together, and it only works when we're all doing our part. So thank you and have a great night.
Thank you so much for your greetings and the information, Assembly Member.
Yes,
Yes,
Mount Heights North Association, thank you for a very great celebration. We were there to celebrate you, but you gave us a really great time. So thank you for that.
thank you. Are there any questions?
Madam Chair, if I
or
could,
comments?
I forgot one thing. I'm sorry. On September 21st, we are hosting, the mayor's hosting with all of the city agencies, a career and resource fair at the Atlantic Mall. So we're extending invitations. We're doing that in joint with Community Board 2 and 8, as well as 7-7, 7-8, and the 8-8 precincts. So we invite everybody to participate. We'll have a lot of the agencies out there to answer questions and give folks access to the resources that is available. And culminated with a lot of support coming from a lot of the venues, so I should say the stores in the venue right there at Atlantic Mall, who are coming out to also offer up opportunities to work with them. So I invite everybody on the 21st from 10 o'clock till 4 p.m. We'll be on the plaza.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Herbert.
Excuse me, Chair, can I ask a question? This is Ms. Granville.
Hi, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand, Miss Granville. Your question
No,
is
I'm
to
sorry
whom?
that I didn't raise my hand, but I did want to respectfully ask her a question. When she
Sure.
said that when they said plaza, do they mean Restoration Plaza or the plaza downtown Brooklyn?
That would be the Atlantic Mall Plaza right on Atlantic and Fort Greene.
Thank you so much, Mr. Herbert. I wanted to make sure I had the right location.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so CB8 is seeking submissions for budget items and statement of district needs. A survey was sent out to the community, but additional feedback is necessary. If you submit requests outside of the form, they must have an accompanying explanation of 100 words or less. Supporting documentation in Word or PDF format can be submitted as well. I just want to remind everyone that the budget process is not for complaints, but instead to help the agencies determine what services are funded and any additional service that need to be created. The district needs statement is a compilation of needs and services that have been identified as needs or necessary for the community and its residents. Additionally, nonprofit organizations and philanthropic efforts use the need statements to identify what services they will provide or fund and where. So if you have, we encourage you to please fill out that survey. And if you have any ideas, requests for capital expense budget, please send them into the office right away, the district office. Thank you. Now, we want to go straight to the reports from the following committees. I will ask Economic Development to go first. Mr. Saunders. Mr. Saunders?
Oh, sorry about that. Well, we had a happy summer, safe summer. We enjoyed Labor Day, and it was safe and enjoyable. And what I liked, we did not meet this. We're not meeting this month for economic development. We will be actually meeting next month, and that date will be October 11th. Look forward to having members come by and joining our committee as far as addressing the economic needs in our community, and also that we do have something that's going on. Just want to bring it to light, to attention, and that would be that we're working with Rabbi Cohen and the Crown Heights Jewish Community Center, and it's talking about starting businesses and small businesses that need help. And if you need any more information, feel free to contact the community board office and get in contact with me. And program should be starting in September 28th. And I look forward to seeing you in our next meeting, October 11th. That's it.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Saunders. Education and Youth, Ms. Daniel. Ms. Daniel. Okay, we're going to move on to EST. Mr. Widowax.
Good evening, everyone. For those of us who can remember 2 hours ago where we started, Mr. Atkins was asking some very good questions to our elected officials. He talked about some of the problems, rats, sinkholes, leaky water infrastructure. I wanted to add a few items to that list. Dirty streets, intermittent or non-existent sanitation and recycling pickup, the lack of the brown bins, the food waste pickup, lack of adherence to alternate side parking, traffic clogged streets, high rates of asthma. You see where I'm going. I could go on. What do all these problems have in common? Two things. One, they can be traced back to the historic disinvestment in the physical infrastructure of the city that Mr. Atkins referenced. And two, they're solvable by inventive policy solutions and a little bit of political bravery and a little bit of political leadership. So to our elected officials who were here 2 hours ago, and I hope are still listening, if you want to build a livable, clean, and healthy environment that is sustainable, you can start by taking a close look at and dismantling some of the existing interests that keep our streets dirty and clogged with cars, that keep the antiquated sanitation rituals in place, and that put parking before persons, and that keep the rats happy and well-fed and dancing in our streets unafraid. If you're interested in discussing these issues and many, many more, what we as community members can do to address them and bring them to the attention of those in power to effect these changes, please join the EST committee. We meet next on September the 27th at 6:15 here on WebEx. Hope to see everyone then.
Thank you. Housing, Ms. Granville, please.
Good evening. We did not meet during the summer, but we will be meeting on the 14th of September, which is a Wednesday. And we're looking forward to everyone coming out to voice their concerns. And I'm happy that our elected officials, a couple of them are still on, because we will be inviting someone from your staff to come out to join our meetings. And the reason is we would like you to be with us as certain things progress, so that when certain things come up and we need your assistance, we won't have to bring you up to speed in 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever the case is. Someone from your staff would already have an idea of what it is that we're concerned about. So we're looking forward to working with you, and we invite everyone, whether you are an owner or a tenant, to come to housing advocacy. So we're looking for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Parks is next with Miss Andrews.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful summer. The first thing I wanted to mention is that the Lincoln Terrace Tennis Association Junior Group participated in the Arthur Ashe Kids Day program tournament that was on August the 27th. The New York Times featured this special group in a story about their wonderful program and what they have accomplished in this community. Would like to give Mr. Charles Each kudos and his group, his staff, which they are working with no pay to help the young children to learn tennis and to succeed. So kudos to that group. Our next meeting will be September 13th, this Tuesday coming up at 6:15 via the WebEx. Our normal meetings are the first Tuesday of the month. But this month we're going to be meeting on the second Tuesday, but we'll be meeting the first Tuesday of the month every moving forward after this month. We would like to see you come to join us, help us decide on capital projects, events for the year, and advocate for the park health and safety. Hope to see you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Andrews. Public safety with Mr. Thurton.
Hey, good day. It's Mark Thurton, Chairperson of the Public Safety. Glenda, fantastic work with Lincoln Terrace Park. That's part of our collaboration, public safety, with other committees. For the public safety, we did not meet during the summer. However, we did a collaboration with the 77th Precinct and the Precinct Council with the National Night Out on during the summer. That was extremely successful. I want to thank Brian Saunders for leading that. He did a fantastic job. For this semester, we're gonna be having a busy schedule. Unfortunately, public safety in our community is always a concern. So we would definitely like for additional people to come in, share their ideas, concerns, and see how we can improve our neighborhood. Our committee will be having a discussion on our plans for the semester, and set out an agenda for different presentations and concerns that we do have for the remainder of the season. We meet every fourth Monday, and our next meeting will be on Monday, September the 26th, by way of WebEx at 6:15. And please definitely come on out and participate. What's so good about WebEx, you can do it almost anywhere, while you're driving, while you're home, anytime. You can multitask. So definitely come on out to the public safety meeting, and we're more than willing to assist. Public safety is not just about decreasing violence. Public safety also is involved with transportation and safety with the residents in the community. So definitely come on out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Thurton. And SLAC, which I am the chairperson of, what we have discussed is streamlining our application. We're making it easier for the renewals who don't have any issues. And there are three specific ones. One, that they have not changed their method of operations at all. Two, that they don't have any complaints with 311, with 911 as well. So that would be the precinct that actually attends our meetings to speak of any complaints. Also, no objections or complaints from the public. So we are streamlining that process so it's easier for those who have, again, nothing has changed, and they've been that good vendor, restaurateur. So we also we had a meeting on the 25th of July because we have to meet that committee as well as land use. We can't just be off for the whole summer. So we did have a meeting, and in those times we can make the decision to approve and disapprove without the board, because the board doesn't meet during the summer. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to have our meeting next Monday, because we meet the first Monday of every month, with the exception of this month. Labor Day always falls. So our next meeting in October, the second week of, or the second Thursday, we will ratify what went on July 25th, and what will take place next week, Monday. And that is the report for SLAC. I'm going to move to seniors. Miss Muhammad.
Yes, good evening. This is Gail Muhammad, Chair of the Senior Committee. The Chair of the Senior Committee did not meet in September. Our first meeting will be held the first Wednesday in October. Our meeting will be held at 1055 St. John's Place, and that is between Brooklyn and Kingston Avenue. I would like to speak with the chair of our health committee, Tamika Gibbs, because we would like to do something in October around breast cancer prevention. So we hope that we would do something with the seniors at that time also, to make them aware of the importance of them having their mammograms. And that's it. We're looking for the new members to come on board. At our last meeting, when we met with them earlier, when Chairperson Witherspoon had that we met with, there were a few people that said that they were interested in being a part of the senior intergenerational meeting. So we look forward to seeing you in October. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And veterans, Ms. Granville.
The Veterans Committee, I'm representing Community Board 8 for the first time. We will be included in a Veterans Appreciation Parade, which will take place the first Saturday in November. I believe it's November 5th. We're going to do our best to publicize it so that we have a much better attendance than we've had in previous years. And we will be working with Community Board 16 and Community Board 3. So we ask that you come out. We want to show our best that we appreciate the things that they have done. And we want to just basically have a good showing and make it a feel-good day. In addition to being in a parade, it will also be a resource fair. So there will be information available that veterans and their families can use. So we're asking everyone to come out, and we're also asking that you help us pray for good weather, because we know that a lot of people like to be outside because of COVID, but we really don't want anyone to have to go through any rain or any snow that particular day. And here in New York, you can never say what the weather will be. So help us to pray for good weather. And we're asking everyone to come out. We have 5 grand marshals, and we do have one of those marshals is a woman vet. So we're trying to make sure that everybody is included. And we just ask that you come out and join us.
Thank you very much. I want to circle back to Ms. Daniel for youth, please. Ms. Daniel?
Hello, the Youth and Education Committee did not meet this month. Our next meeting is the first Tuesday in October. Hope everyone who is interested will be able to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. I do see a hand, Ms. Rosado.
Hello,
Did you have?
everyone. Yes.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Shalene Rosado, interim president of North Nostrand Avenue Merchant Association. I just wanted to report to all the members of the community board. Um, Following our destination Nostrand event on Nostrand Avenue between Atlantic and Prospect Place on, I believe that was August 20th. We have received a commitment from some of our elected officials to help fund that project. We still are looking for some more funding. Well, another project, which is our holiday lights. But I wanted to report that that will be moving forward. Avenue between Atlantic and Eastern Parkway will be getting holiday lights this year on every other block. So we'll have 5 lights going across from Atlantic to Eastern Parkway. And we just want to thank all of our community partners and everybody who helped get us to where we are, including our community partners, our funding partners, our neighbors, our residents, our elected officials, the community board, the 77th precinct, and everybody else who continues to help us move along, and as well as I already mentioned our community partners, but yeah. So thank you again. Just wanted to report that to everybody on this call. And if you
Thank
have
you
any
so much.
questions or concerns, you can reach me at my phone. My email is Celine, CELENE.ROSADO@gmail.com. If anyone has anybody who's interested in partnering, funding, volunteering in any of our upcoming initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rosado. Okay, Mr. Atkins, Adina, and Mr. Vacconi, please.
I just wanted to say thank you to Glenda for lifting up the article in the Times about Lincoln Terrace Park. And it was very wonderful coverage. It had a wonderful picture of Marvin Henry Brown's family. But I would like to say that that article, while it was very glowing in some aspects, it painted a very bad picture about the park and our community. The author cited prostitution, crime, muggings, and killings at least 3 times in the article. I brought this to the attention of my chair, Mark Thurton, and I don't know if people here remember that there was a huge change in the tenor of Rochester Avenue in the 70s. There's a church in Lincoln Place in Rochester called Bible Way, and he single-handedly, he and his congregation got the prostitution removed from that particular corner and all the way down Rochester to Rockaway Parkway and all around Lincoln Terrace Park. I'm fairly sure that between the 77th and the 73rd, that there hasn't been a tremendous upsweep the way it was in the 70s, the bad 70s. But I'm sensitive to the way that my community is painted in the press. And the author spent a lot of time basically putting a negative spin on what should have been a very glowing thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Adina?
Hi, my name is Adina. Thanks for having me. I'm the owner of Cornbread Farm to Sell. Just wanted to join the meeting today to see, how I can get more engaged with the community and how I can be more for community partners. So if there's anybody that looking for a partner to feed the homeless this Thanksgiving, I'm volunteering. Our restaurant is right on Eastern Parkway and Bedford Avenue. We're called Cornbread Farm to Sell. So just looking if you guys need anything, we're here. We're having our ribbon cutting tomorrow. Please join us at 6 o'clock. But most importantly, just really looking to be a community partner and how I can pour more into this community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adina. We wish you good luck with your business, and thank you for that offer, because there is a need. So we appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Vacconi?
Thank you, Ms. Weatherspoon. I'm Gib Bocconi, and I also chair the Prospect Heights Neighborhood Development Council, which sponsors the Weekend Open Street program on Vanderbilt Avenue. And if you haven't had a chance to visit the Open Street on Vanderbilt Avenue, you have two great weekends coming up. We're doing two events that are really terrific, and they're free. And I'd like to invite everyone to come and join us for them. The first one is this Saturday at 5 p.m. It's the Bindlestiff Family Circus. It's a lot of fun for kids and adults. Last year they did a very nice show, and this year my understanding is the show will be even bigger. So that's 5 p.m. on Vanderbilt Avenue and Pacific Street, and it's free. And I think you'll really enjoy it. Next Saturday, the 17th at 4 p.m., we have the Salsa Dance Studio coming back for another salsa event on Vanderbilt Avenue. And this one is with a live band. This will be a lot of fun. If you like coming out and dancing with a lot of people in the street to live salsa music, you will want to participate. This is 4 o'clock on Saturday, the 17th. Also at Vanderbilt Avenue and Pacific Street. So just those are two very kind of bigger, we do events every weekend, but these are two bigger ones, and I just wanted to let everyone know. Thank you.
Thank you for that information. Sounds like it's going to be fun. Ms. Lazar, saw you.
Yeah, thank you. The same day, and I'm so frustrated that it's the same day because I love salsa, but the Crown Heights Tenant Union is going to be having their annual picnic at Lincoln Terrace Park on Saturday, September 17th. So if you're a tenant, if you know a tenant, you can send them your way, whether you've been to a Crown Heights Tenant Union meeting before or not. It's a lot of fun, and there is always a lot of solidarity with people going through tenant struggles, of which there are many in this neighborhood. So yeah, that's September 17th, Lincoln Terrace Park. I'm guessing it starts maybe at 1, whatever picnic time is. Okay, thank you.
I was just going to ask you. Thank you very much for that information. Okay, I just want to end off by saying if we don't have any more questions or comments, thank you guys.
Yes.
Hello.
A question.
Who's speaking?
Waving her hand.
James has a hand up first.
Okay, fine.
Oh, I don't even see your hand, Ms. Gibb. I didn't see it.
I-
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I don't
sorry, I
remember
didn't see
giving
it.
my report to the health committee.
Oh my gosh. You
I'm
should have
like,
jumped in. You should have just cut me off.
No, I wait
I'm
my turn.
sorry. And I
was
just
like, did
jumped
I
right
miss
into
something?
comments. Yes, you missed me mentioning you. I am so sorry. Please tell us about your report.
I am Tamika Gibbs, the chair of the Health and Human Services Committee. Our next
Yeah.
meeting is next Thursday, September 15th via WebEx. You can check the CB8 website for exact login information. Ms. Muhammad, we will get together in reference to the breast cancer for October. Please, everyone please attend our meeting next week. We're doing our planning meeting for the entire year to see what are our needs of our community, what we'd like to hear, who we'd like to hear from, and the needs of all of our constituents in our district. Also brought to me by my co-chair, Ms. Kim Watson, on September 28th, 2022 at PS 41. They're having a mobile breast cancer screening bus at PS 41 from 9 to 4:30 p.m. for anyone over 40 and over. There are no co-pays and no deductibles. All those are waived. And they're even doing the uninsured. So if you know anybody who's over 40 years old, need a breast cancer screening, it is completely free at PS 41 on September 28th between 9 and 4:30 p.m. Thank you, and I hope to see you all next Thursday.
Thank you. Thank you for your report. My apologies again. Okay. Mr. Cream. Hello?
Hi. How's it going?
Hi. Pretty good, thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name's Alex. I just wanted to quickly introduce myself. I know it's been it's a late night getting there, but I first want to start off that I am not a resident, so I've kind of just been hanging in the background and enjoyed watching the engagement from all of you tonight. I'm a neighboring resident in District 2. And I guess, what brings me here to District 8 originally was my girlfriend living in District 8. And so I've spent a lot of time in your community. And I'm also a local architect and urban designer. And for the past year, I think the point that Mr. Witherwax brought up earlier about the disinvestment of physical infrastructure. Well, for years I've been studying that in the city, and it has such incredible effect. That simple fact of disinvestment into the physical infrastructure. And I've been workshopping an idea for a proposal that's centered around the Franklin Avenue shuttle, which I know has been a point of contention within the neighborhood for decades now. And I think that, well, let me backtrack just a second in that I've spent a lot of time going through your community's statement for 2023 of needs and requests, budget requests, and I'm incredibly inspired by everything that you guys and the detail in which and the thoughtfulness that you guys have approached so many issues within the community and areas where it can be improved. And I think that this proposal that we've been workshopping at my firm, which works internationally on community-based, community self-initiated projects, we've been workshopping it a bit, and I'm just wondering how I might be able to introduce the idea more formally to members of the community as a creative way to, address a number of topics through the statement that I was, going through of 2023, as well as the potential to attract investment into infrastructure in District 8 that I think we could incorporate so many different topics in this project. So obviously, I think that this could go on for a long time on this topic. So I want to make sure I'm approaching this the right way and looking for your advice on, how and when we might be able to look at a presentation.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Cream. I'm advising that you contact the district office. The district manager there is Michelle George, with your information and what ideas you're talking about, and we will distribute it to where it belongs in terms of the different committees, okay, and see where it will best fit.
Okay, and I guess one closing thought, sorry, is that it is a rather large project, which means that I think that the first steps are about concept that I would like to workshop with everyone here. And then what I think the next steps being would be community support of a further study and receiving funds, whether that be from the city or externally third parties of ways to look at strategic interventions around the Franklin Avenue shuttle, specifically as a way to open up an incredible amount of community space and increase mobility. And I know north-south mobility is a major topic, and also easing of congestion of streets. I think all of these are some of the bigger topics where it's centered around. But I do want to introduce that idea that we are in the preliminary steps now, and that I would like to work with the community to basically try to establish a more formal study of what work could look like around this idea.
Yeah, so I understood you the first time. So
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I want to direct you to the district manager of Community Board 8. Her name is Michelle George, and the email address is brooklyncb8@gmail.com.
Okay, fantastic.
Wonderful, and thank you for spending your time here, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Great, thank you all.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Ms. Granville?
I wanted to mention two things. You mentioned the breast cancer screening. I wanted to remind everyone that if you work for the city of New York, you get 4 hours for your screening. And that's not confined to women. The men get it also. And I want the men to really, really think about the fact that when you have a family, your life does not belong to you alone. So even if you don't like going to the doctor, you should go anyway because you have people depending on you who want to see you live a long time. Second thing, I want to congratulate Crown Heights North Association on a very nice event on August 28th. It was my first time going to your soiree, and I will try not to miss it. In the past, it had conflicted with Jazz in Poughkeepsie, but I hope this year it will still be on 2 different dates so I can go and enjoy myself with my neighbors and with my board members and with my friends. And I just want to say, you all gave a heck of an event, and I was very, very happy to be there, very well organized and very well attended. So I am very, very pleased about that. And I was hoping that Mr. Kwasi Menza was still around because this is National Preparedness Month, and I thought he was going to talk about our CERT team. For those
Well,
of
he might
you,
have. He might.
okay,
He has his hand
Here,
up, so
I'm
he
still
might
here.
just
I'm
say
here.
okay,
that.
okay.
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 So,
Thank you, Ms. Thank you, Ms. Granville. Did you
okay.
want to add anything further before I
No, I
get to?
just wanted to make
Okay.
sure that he's going to mention it because some people don't even know we have one.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mensah.
Okay, you put me on the spot. Go for the CERT team.
She certainly did.
Yes.
Yeah.
In
Okay.
particular, September is Emergency Preparedness Month, and we should definitely be aware of these things, realities. We're still in hurricane season. Yeah, it's October, I believe, right? Things can happen. And I actually am the division chief of Division 4, which consists of Boards 8 and Boards 9. And we do anything from emergency response. I was helping this past Monday for those who have been affected by the water contamination at Jacob Reese houses. So we assisted the NYCHA, some CERT members, distributing water to the residents. We also give presentations on emergency preparedness. We suggest that you join the CERT team. We always need members. Earlier, Mark mentioned the Night Out Against Crime. We were there as well, giving out information on how to join, information on developing an emergency preparedness plan. Also, your go bag, which is a very important part of that process. And I should note the reason why I joined the CERT team, and well, as a few others here, Ms. Granville, Mr. Thornton, and Ms. Jordan, because of the Community Board 8. At the time, Ms. Alexander was in the office, and she was the one that extended the word about the CERT team. Very, very important that we are aware of these things, because we'd rather be proactive than reactive. The things that we can do to protect ourselves and our families in the unfortunate event that things happen. I mean, for example, the people in Jacob Reese houses. One of the recommendations is that we all keep bottled water stored. Well, that's forever, but at least it gives you a heads up, head start over others who don't prepare. But I wanted to also, I believe Senator Port is still present. Is he there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, good evening. A few months back, I had at this board meeting, I had made a strong case in light of the tragic fire in the Bronx, where I think 17 people were killed, all due to smoke inhalation, that the state assembly or state senate, and state senate, puts out some PSAs, simple PSAs, 30 seconds about fire safety. Even something simple as if you leave your apartment that's on fire, close the door. Now, I don't know what's happened since then, but I wanted to ask you, has any move been made along that line to have a simple PSA to the public, to put it in the minds of the people, some aspect of fire safety that can save lives?
Yeah, I know the mayor's office has been doing some of that. In general, PSAs, if you're looking for like ad campaigns and like radio spots and seeing things like on like bus kiosks and in the subway, that's usually best done through the executive branch. of government, not the legislative branch. My office doesn't really have the resources to do that sort of thing. But my recollection from that event was that a campaign on personal responsibility is not the best lesson to take away, because like a lot of the issue with that fire was that the doors were supposed to close automatically through code, and that they didn't, and that also the tenants also shouldn't have been using space heaters in the first place, that the landlord should have had the heat working in the building. So so to answer your question, yes, I think the mayor has done some stuff on that, but also I just question whether that's the best lesson to take away from how to stop fires like that in the future.
Well, I never suggested this was the only way. I suggested it as a step in the process. You said it just minutes ago, it wasn't much about personal responsibility. It was in terms of space heaters. I'm saying that, well, I mean, you straightened me out as far as who is responsible. I didn't get that sense at the meeting that this was more of an executive branch issue. But I would say, though, that you should be passionate about this. And to the extent that you have connections to the executive branch, you should bring it to them as well, as an elected official. And start worrying about suing, whatever happened with the doors and enclosed, automatic. A simple 30-second message to remind people what they can do to make a difference between life and death of others. And I don't think that's too much to ask.
Yeah, I definitely hear that, and I do think the mayor did do stuff like that. I know right after the event he was talking about launching some sort of campaign. Let me circle back and see if that actually happened.
Yes. Again, there's no guarantee in panic this will happen.
Yes, it did happen.
The
Yes.
public should at least be aware in the subconscious that something can be done. As I explained to another elected official, you leave that apartment, you live, others are going to die. And 17 people that died in that fire all died from smoke inhalation. No one was burned.
Okay. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Mensah, and thank you, Senator Bruce Fort, for your response. Okay, I did hear you say you would backtrack and see what was done in where that is concerned. So I appreciate that. We thank you. Okay, we had a very productive evening. Thank you all for being here, for hanging in here. It's 8:45, and I wish you all a good night and enjoy the rest of the month. And we will see you on October 13th, excuse me. That will be our next board meeting. So be well and be safe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.